Hello people and welcome back to News Review. This week we're starting off with the Seiya collab returning. The tier list isn't as it is the first time it came out. All the cards are honestly pretty bad now. And if you're a new player, let me just say this. I don't recommend you pull on the banner because it's just quite bad. Even though some of the ratings on these cards are influenced by cards that have come out. If you're if you're not starting from this specific version, I don't recommend you pull for Seiya. Even if you are starting from this specific version, pull like Javanor or something. Pull Ingrid. Like either of those are better. So, yeah. Anyway. Let me explain why these cards are bad now, or worse than they were before. So the leader skill, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, you can read this yourself if you want, but the main change they did to all three of the jackpots, which is Cygnus, Shiryu, and what's this guy called in English again? Seiya? Yes. They all buffed their HP basically. Like their damage isn't particularly good, except for Shiryu. Shiryu's damage is okay, but their damage for like contemporary leaders or stages, they go hand in hand. It's kind of it's pretty bad. All right. So the way they kind of buffed it for Seiya especially is making him have I'm not sure what they changed specifically, but they made his HP better. Probably this section, or this section. Yeah, it's probably this. I remember it was less than 1.5 before. But how you get? Well, I'm sure you've seen, or maybe you've not seen those videos of Seiya teams having over 100k HP. So the way you actually get to that number is by putting the entire Seiya series in there, like the Shiryu, Dokuro, whoever the third. I don't remember the third guy's name, dude. I'll get to him later, and that's basically you put an HP buffing combo. It's the whole Seiya seal, and then he's pretty restricted in terms of members. That's the other reason why these guys are pretty bad now. It's because they're restricted to their own seal. They don't have anything that, modern leaders have, such as recovering without recovery. They only depend on their own runestones for attack. And they only depend on heart runestones to recover. They don't have any extra combos. They don't ignore sticky, burning, anything like that. So, yeah, that's why I don't recommend anyone really pull on this seal. The only acceptable thing maybe is to pull for Shiryu for his active and his team skill, which are still pretty okay if you want to run Earth Human, which nobody does because there are no Earth Human leaders. It's just me hoping that Earth Human will be better in the future. But I also already have Shiryu from last time. Anyway. Okay, let's just go over this real quick. So, starting with Hyuga. Why is Hyuga borderline trash, even though he's technically a jackpot? It's because he is a water human that launches fire attacks. This used to be really good because there was no one else who could do that, but now Tanjiro just completely replaces this card in terms of everything. He has more shield breaking ability, more just damage in general. The only thing that could be said about this guy is he restores Armor's normal state and also has this effect. But this is basically the first active is replaced by Tanjiro and the second active is replaced by Gyu. So, sorry, buddy, you've been completely replaced by the Demon Slayer collab. So if you have those cards, you don't need Cygnus, which is why he's borderline trash. Next up, is Ikki. Ikki is solidly 5 diamonds because of this skill, his second skill after he transforms. He ignores burning, which is still very valuable. There's only one other human card who does this, also a collab card, Escanor, you can't get him anymore. So yeah, very valuable. Although, you know, the use rate is not that high, obviously, because most teams do ignore burning. Next, Shiryu, as I mentioned, a great damage boost, although, you know, damage isn't that big of a consideration nowadays, which is why he's, you know, moved down a notch from the 50 diamond slot. Nothing much to say about him, honestly. And Seiya. Seiya was mainly used for his puzzle shield, just ignoring ability, but if you just take a look at how many light humans there are, I'm going to show them like up here, that can break puzzle shields. It's honestly a bit of a joke at this point. Like, obviously the notable ones like recently are like Zenitsu, and also the other card that that replaced a collab exclusive. Yeah, it's just there are too many cards that can do that, and people make the argument that Seiya still has damage when it comes to breaking puzzle shields. If you're looking for damage when breaking puzzle shield, that is Tanjiro. He can drop like a nuclear bomb on the enemy just by himself, so that's not an argument at all. If you, I mean, like, honestly, he probably like might be worse than Shiryu, but I mean, he is still like an acceptable leader, I guess. But let's just leave it at that. Next, Shin is good only for this skill right here, a full board conversion of 5 attributes, and then dealing damage to the enemy at the end of the round. Once again, very niche effects, but you know, good to have around once again. Next, Camus, who has been moved into also borderline trash. Why? Because freezing enemies is kind of like, it's not very good. That you can just only freeze enemies and also be a converter. There's no like attack boost or anything even in there. Fine, they're equally bad. All right, that's the final point about that. They do buff your HP when put on the team together, which is why they're not complete garbage. But yeah, both these cards are pretty bad. Shura been placed in absolute garbage tier because he only makes himself and Shiryu ignore enemy defense, small attack boost, and this first point is basically just disregarded, honestly. And last and least is Ayulia, who adds combos. Adds 7 combos for 1 round. There is literally a bi-weekly card, I'm going to show it right here, that is also like human, that adds 8 combos. So like, I should have put him in the tier worse than trash. And if you're wondering if there's a tier less than trash, well, here we go. These are the free cards, and this is a tier like worse than Get 1. By the way, all the free cards are also coming back, as said in this picture, text, whatever. So let's just go over them quickly. Pisces, the only non-trash card out of the story mode. By the way, to get to the story mode, I'll just put a little, like a video will play here. You go to Era of Enoch, once again by clicking on the Enochian Tower, and then you click on the dragon, and then you scroll to the left, and then there it is, Fire Clock Tower. Okay, Pisces. He does not suck because he applies 2 debuffs to the enemy, which can solve 2 debuff shields. It isn't common, but at least he's useful unlike pretty much everyone else. He poisons enemies and weakens their attack, which is surprisingly useful nowadays, somehow. Next up is Taurus. Who sucks because he changes the attribute of his attack into light, and many fire human monsters can do that. I'm going to show them right here. Next is the goddess Athena, who is useless because she only buffs the Saint Seiya series. Cancer Death Mask, who is useless because, well, just look at it. It's basically a non-skill. Scorpio has theoretically a use because he launches a fire attack, or rather multiple fire attacks, for a dark human. Although I've never seen, like, dark human is not an established archetype. There are other dark cards that can do that, and obviously other human cards that can do that. So theoretically he is useful, so he's like a little bit above the rest, but I've never seen him being actually used. Next is Virgo Chaka. By the way, Chaka is an ultimate card, while all the rest of these can be obtained from the story mode. Chaka is actually quite useful. When the enemy can be controlled, that is, he can just delay the enemy by 2 turns. The reason why I put him up here is because, you know, I've actually seen him been used recently in a monthly challenge, I believe, in a Tanjiro team. So, you know, he has his use, and I think this effect is pretty powerful, honestly, because it also reduces the enemy's defense to 0, which can be useful in some situations. Next up is Gemini, who is useless because it's an attack boost only. Xion, yes, okay, Xion is the card that has an HP boost with Dokuro and Shiryu. Basically buffs the HP to pretty ridiculous values. He is also one of the very best nightmare cards that have come out ever in the game, because he records your board and then drops it when you dissolve it. So it's like Trio, but inactive. That's, I mean, there's not really much to say about that, apart from that this is an amazing card. Please farm it. You know, please get one, even if you have to spend diamonds. I think that's what I did. Or, yeah, I think that's what I did in the first time the collab came in. I spent diamonds to get one copy of this card. It is still really good. Moving on, Aries Mu. This time around, you can find Mu in not the Coliseum, because apparently they're reworking that. You can find him in the Trade Fortress for 200 souls. You can buy unlimited copies of him. Although I don't know why you would want to, because it is an attack boost. All humans in the team launch an extra light attack is, you know, you can argue that it's useful, but it's really not, because he's a light card. If he was not a light card, then it would be somewhat useful, but he's not. Next, Dokuro from Horror Stages. Yes, that is correct. Amazing card. Please, please, please grab at least one of this card. It is like, honestly, I should have put him like in a higher tier up. It's even better than Xion. Obviously, they have a team skill together, but the ability to make the whole team launch 10 extra earth attacks, that is like 60 extra attacks. That is insane. So, just get him, no questions asked. Sagittarius Aiolos is useless because he didn't even give himself an attack boost. This is just like 10 extra light attacks, which, again, why would you bring this guy for extra attacks when you have Dokuro, or even for light human? Like, there's a light human in the LR pass who's better than this guy. Come on. Same goes for Eagle Marin. Makes herself and Seiya launch 10 extra water attacks. Why would you want a card that does extra water attacks when the card is water? Why? Please. Useless. Next, Fuchsia Shayna. There's not even like an attack boost, even though she does change her attack into light, which there might be something to be said about that, because no other dark human, once again, changes their has a light attack, but considering that she doesn't even give herself an attack boost, is pretty garbage. Alright, that is it for all the Seiya content. Moving on to other content, you can find Mystic Slimes for coins in the Trade Fortress. Great for those of you who are needing them. And this is basically future stuff, don't pay too much attention to it. The black cards will be buffed in the future, also their seals will open up again, I believe. Right now it is, well, Pompey's the first one. And then I believe they'll follow this order probably. And then, oh yeah, Major Gods of Babylon are getting their SR in early September. Very nice. Login rewards, very nice. XP stage, play this if you want XP. Although, I'm not sure why anyone would want XP. Play these if you want materials, great. And more material, great. And more materials. This is just all future. Why say this now if you're gonna be like doing this in like 2 weeks time? This is even further in future. Okay, calm down. Alright. Okay, this is actually relevant right now. 2 weeks are perfect. I've been making use of this to level up my cards. Just save materials, right? Next, Ultimate Re-Challenge. Okay. Nope, this is also in the future. Okay. Okay, something actually current. Alright. Mete, the Dark Beast, C7, gives you a Russo movement time extension. The important point here is he has Enchanted Trail, which is quite useful because I don't believe any beast leader in the game right now has that effect, except for mole cards, of course. But I mean, you obviously wouldn't put him in a mole cards. You would put him in like some other beast team or dark team, I guess. Not like no one can use him right now, but dark beast is something that they've been trying to do. So maybe in the future he could be useful. The main point is this Draconic though. I mean, not Draconic, Dragonware though, which is pretty good because it extends Wisdom movement time by 1.5 seconds and gives a okay attack boost by dissolving beast moonstones. The only bad part about it is that you can only equip it on dark beasts, so yeah. He'll also be particularly easy to farm because of this double drop rate thing. And then, other than that, the bi-weekly card, Swift C7. The important thing here is that he launches 5 extra attacks, one of each attribute, so you can solve quintet attack shield in Dragon teams now. Very cool. And then, oh yeah, if you wanted to use mascots or this special Mad Hat as level up materials, you'll not only be a monster, but you can't do that anymore starting from early August, which I'm pretty sure this came out past early August. Come on, man. Anyway, other than that, a couple of things in here. 5 O'Clock Tower, as I said, is in the story mode. Once again, the dragon wares of the characters will also be returning. This does give a diamond if you clear the whole stage, of course. So that's a free diamond if you haven't completed that before. Also, I should say, if you complete everything before, as I have, you won't get diamonds again for clearing the stages. Not even like the ultimate stage. They'll just treat it as a returning ultimate stage. I don't think there is anything. No, okay. Yeah, Pompey's the first one. He's already on right now. I don't recommend you pull for him. unless you have an excess of diamonds, or you have like a Machina leader such as Ultimate X, and you don't have Pompeii. Pompeii's a pretty good member for Machina teams, or even Ingrid once in a while, because he can break puzzle shields. But for general use, I don't think he's worth 200 diamonds. Apart from that, don't think there is anything. No. Okay. And TOS Best Part 2 is just a repeat of the stuff, but with details in it. I don't think there's anything new in here. No, there's nothing new in here. Alright. Well, that should be it. I'll pass it over to future me, who will record one little bit. Thank you, past me. As you can see here, there are a couple of seals, apart from the same Seiya one, and obviously the one with Javanor, who has been here for a while. Pompeii is on right now, and I don't really recommend you pull for him. But apart from that, Ingrid, I would recommend you pull for if you're a returning player. If you're a new player, I feel like it's worth the 175 diamonds. Still, at this point, Ingrid is still one of the best leaders in the game, in my opinion. And then another notable one is Novalis, who is in seal of, like, I can't remember which part it is, but I'm showing it. And Novalis, you really only want to pull Novalis if you got a Zishen in your 100 pulls. Otherwise, it's not really worth it to pull him, although you could pull him in 15 pulls, which is quite, I mean, it's a lower amount of diamonds compared to how hard he was to get in the big pool before. And we're back. Alright. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like. If you have any questions about anything, leave it in the comments. And if you like this style of video, please subscribe. It gives me motivation to continue. And that's it for this video. Until the next one, see ya!